Hello friends, Nayaswami Hriman here, and it's time to ask a yogi. I have a question here from somebody who wants to know the relationship between material prosperity and meditation, meaning the spiritual path. What is the relationship between spiritual practices and material wealth? It seems very abstract and difficult to see the connection. People often think that spirituality and material wealth have no relation, and in fact that spiritual people appear poor, externally at least, and this is discouraging as it is not a practical practice. Well, meditation is a very practical practice, and it enlivens and energizes the rest of one's life completely. So, and in so doing, of course, you could take that energy and that clarity of mind, that ability to concentrate and so on, and use it to achieve a material success. But material success generates the very thing, for most people, that defeats one's spiritual success, defeats one's the results of meditation, which is to say attachment. By pursuing material success, one presumably does so for the purposes of gaining something, wealth, let us just say. The very attachment to gaining that wealth is the very thing that undermines the ability to achieve it. There are those, East and West, who have seen the relationship between a virtuous life and a successful life, and that also is true. This was part of the lesson of the book of Job in the Old Testament of the Christian Bible. Job was extremely successful, materially speaking, but he was tested on the basis of a question whether or not if he lost that wealth, he would, his faith in God and trust in God would be eroded. And so Job eventually won the test by keeping his faith despite all of the illness and poverty and other tragedies that happened to him. So you cannot measure spiritual success, spiritual consciousness, by the outward forms of either health or wealth. But there is a relationship on the basis of energy. Meditation will awaken your access to energy which you can draw to accomplish whatever it is you seek. And in that way, it can be a temptation. You can, make good progress in your meditation and then lose it by virtue of applying it in the wrong direction towards attachment. And so there is a relationship because of energy between those who are materially successful and those who later perhaps become spiritually successful. But its energy is the common bond and not the outward trappings of material success. And this is the flaw in the ointment of the fly in the ointment of the so-called prosperity gospel, which is not a true teaching, though there is a relationship between virtue and spirituality and the magnetism of spirituality. Nonetheless, the one is not a measurement of the other. Material prosperity is not a measurement of divine grace and favor. Let me just check my notes. I think that covers it pretty well. Okay. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. And that's really the life of faith and the life of a devotee. Your meditations, your prayers, your God consciousness and mindfulness throughout the day become uppermost. And then what comes from that is what you need to continue growing spiritually, whether it be seen as unfortunate or fortunate, doesn't really matter. From the standpoint of the soul, you accept all things as gifts from God. All right.